Holy hell, man. Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, coming at you live to talk about episode 22 of the anime series, Sakurada Reset. And holy hell. After waiting a whole day for this to finally get subbed and released, and then there was some wonkiness with the version I saw where some of the subtitles, whenever there were like two lines of dialogue, for some reason the first line was on the bottom and then the second line was on the top, and it took me a little while into the episode to start realizing, okay, I'm not reading broken English, it's just, it was reversed for some reason. You know, the first sentence was underneath the second sentence and everything, and so that was a little wonky at first. But then, like, the whole entirety of the episode was just gangbusters, man. This was Kay bringing together his Justice League, or his Avengers. He assembled his Avengers. And only after first going to Okaeri and impressing upon her, hey, look, you already beat me. You've already done it. I wouldn't be here otherwise. I'm not going to take it lying down from this point further. But you did it, and I realized I need your help. You need to work part and parcel with this plan that I have to go up against Arachi, who you're going to meet with. And he's apparently had conversations like this with Sasane and such like that, Tsushima as well. And so, I mean, he had all the pre-planning put into effect. It was, as I said, talking about the previous episode, where it was a genuine curiosity how everything would align, how everything would fall into place. And now we see. I mean, he got a very early start on that particular day. He moves a planter, so the girl with the powers of shyness, so she can't be seen directly, wouldn't trip and wouldn't create the car accident, and would allow for Arachi to bring this to the Bureau's attention, who I like how Kay kind of whittles them down to being almost dictators of their own accord, because they are kind of overlording, the penalization of certain kinds of powers, and there are certain kinds of abilities that they think are sketchy and aren't to be trusted, and all these kinds of things. They are kind of the overlords, bureaucratically, societally, of these abilities. And aren't they too kind of a dictator, where it's that whole, just grand, masterful chess game, like an intellectual sparring match going on between Kay and Arachi when finally they are paired together in this episode. But again, it's only after he's assembled his whole crew and he's like, look, this is the way it's gonna be unless we do something about it. He wants to take out all abilities, and that's, in my humble opinion, that's bad. We're all gonna suffer for it. This is what I've seen, this is how it happened, and this is the effects it would take. And I like how, sort of tongue-in-cheek, Kay reveals to Haruki later, he already knows, because of his interactions with the third photo Samir, how this is going to go. He's going to raise this topic to everyone, and everything he revealed to them, he knows that they're probably all going to play a part on his side, backing him against Arachi. But I like how he runs out, in a sense, escapes, as he puts it, and she finds that adorable, because it kind of solidifies that this is going to be a decision that they're all making on their own. Like, oh, maybe he doesn't have that foreknowledge, and he won't see that coming, and he's not manipulating us or anything like that. They won't feel like they were gotten on the upswing of Kay's own doling this information out, that he had gotten the better of them. And I love that he appreciates in that moment with Haruki on the stairwell, this is what Samir brought about for him. This was the consequence of her existence, of her sacrificing her life, of his bringing her back, and subsequent, following up with continuing that mission statement of making him the happiest he can be. And he's no more happy in that moment than being able to be with Haruki, the Haruki who has come and evolved so far and opened so up, blossomed like a wallflower, and just having that very human connectivity with her. He loves it. He cherishes it. But of course, as I say, eventually, Arachi would come and meet Kay, and the grand spectacle of this whole meeting, it was, again, bobbing and weaving like a sparring match of words and everything like that. And I hadn't even perceived that Adachi was not making eye contact with Kei, that he had sort of a formulated idea of what might be happening, considering the room, considering the people Kei has been known to work in tandem with, and he pretty much spelled out the entire affair after the fact, after it all been done. You know, oh, it was Sasane who built, you know, the giant sprawling slides and everything after the fact, and it was, you know, Marase who had opened the hole in the wall, and it was Okaeri who sealed off the one cat's, you know, lockdown ability and everything like that, because, I mean, again, it was going back and forth the entire time. At first, you feel like Kei knows what he's doing. He set up the entire affair, and it really brings you to that sort of precipice of when he's got to shake hands with Adachi, but then he's got to shake hands with the guy who can lock him and can freeze him. And there in that moment, Adachi's like, game, set, match, bitch. I got you right where I want you. But no, he didn't. He came with that in mind. He already knew what was going to happen. He had a sense of it. And he was able to lock down, ironically enough, that guy's ability to lock him. And so it didn't work. It was ineffectual. And here we had Kei getting the best of Adachi. But then Adachi had seen this coming, and a whole swarm of these, you know, bureau people come in, these security forces come in. And it's like, uh-oh, it actually is game, set, match on Adachi's side. So it's going back and forth, flip-flopping back and forth. And then, as I say, you have the portals open up beneath them and these giant, like, water slides that they fall into the car. Sushima's driving, everything like that. I mean, it was spectacular. I'm not even going to go in depth to just, you know, reiterate everything that, if you've seen the episode, you know what happened. But it was spectacular. It was absolutely spectacular. You know, I have said, you know, Kei is a master manipulator. He is a strategist. He's always 3 steps ahead of the game, and he couldn't have been proving that point any more than in this episode. If you have ever had any doubt that this cat knows what he's doing, right herein is the perfect example. It was like a 1-2 punch right back at Adachi, who came in there thinking he was going to dog this kid. But no, in the end he kidnaps him, but the thing is, there's still some gray area, because, well, by all accounts, now, you know, he's kidnapped Adachi, so he's still kind of going against the Bureau, so he's still kind of a wanted man, whereas Adachi himself, by the logic, you know, Kei unleashes on him, is also, for his manipulations against the Bureau, which he was able to prove. And so both of these guys are still very much kind of on even footing, a level playing field. And I thought it was interesting, answering to my own, you know, sort of inquiry speculation about when we saw, you know, an episode or 2 ago where Adachi had managed to successfully remove all the powers from Sakurada. What did that mean for his waking up his mother, and what would that mean for his father? And Kei, basically, in the discussion he's having with Adachi, and when he goes to pointedly shake the hand of the lockdown guy, who doesn't realize his powers have been removed, you know, when Kei has that longing look at him, I thought the guy's sort of, like, reaction was because Kei had just got done saying that whoever is a sacrifice to the system to keep the powers within Sakurada, but then to expel them, would, for all intents and purposes, be sacrificed to that cause. So that likely means that, you know, Adachi would never be able to reunite with his father again, because I think it's his father who is solely responsible for keeping that barrier up, or his mother, whichever way it goes. I don't remember which of the two has which ability, but, you know, suffice to say, one of those parents, or one of those potential stand-ins, if, you know, Kei wants to bring about a couple of new people, you know, creating the same kind of effect around Sakurada, removing the parents, and he himself taking over part of that role or something like that, or someone else who is a similar ability user, whomever might do that would be sacrificed for the greater cause. And so I thought this guy, you know, the lockdown dude, was reacting to that. Like, he was gobsmacked that, oh, look at how selfish Adachi is. He doesn't care about the fate of one of his parents or both of his parents. what he's willing to lose. He's willing to sacrifice their lives, their you know, whatever, their existence, to bring about this cause that he believes, you know, is the end all be all, removing all of these abilities forever. And I thought that was the reaction when, lo and behold, we then find out when the other leg drops. No, that was the moment, because Kei made eye contact, that through Okaeri and through the abilities, you know, channeling through Kei, that was when they made him forget how to use his lockdown ability. But I think you could argue that it maybe was both of those factors working in tandem. Not only removing his lockdown ability, the memory of using it, but also the weight of that realization that someone would be sacrificed to either keep this going, you know, for Kei to keep this going, to keep abilities and such like that, you know, held within Sakurada, to keep them alive and still in existence, or the other way. You know, there's a sacrifice coming in either direction. So it's like I say, both of these cats by the end are kind of still on even footing, level playing field. And it's just, I think we got 2 episodes left to figure out how this is all going to end, how it's all going to culminate, and whether or not either of these 2 guys has an ace up their sleeve. You know, Arachi could pull something out of his hat at the last minute in the next episode that, you know, won't be well and truly, you know, confined and locked down until the final episode. You know, I don't know. But I just loved it. I loved this whole episode, seeing that back and forth, that give and sway, that sparring of these 2 intellects that came to this penultimately prepared, but still Kei won out in the end over Arachi. And it's just a matter, as I say, does he have an ace in the hole somewhere along the line that's going to, you know, dial back what Kei has achieved before we finally reach the culmination of the story? I don't know. It's anyone's guess, and I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of this particular episode of Sakurada Reset, if you've seen it, as well if you were as gobsmacked and excited by this episode as I was, what Kei managed to accomplish, if, you know, you were completely dumbstruck by the fact that here Kei seemed to win, and then all of a sudden all those guards come in and everything, and it seems like, no, he lost the day, but, oh, he was prepared for that, and then the renewed satisfaction of, yes, he did beat Arachi and everything. Were you feeling the waves of emotions like I was in every revelation along those lines? Let me know in the comments below. Love it or hate it, anything goes. Just love having that conversation. And so, yeah, otherwise it'll be pretty much it for me on this. If this video finds you well, I'll catch you all later. Peace.